Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another segment of Classical Greek Values and Modern Realities, sponsored by the Aristotle and Alexander Press. Today's segment is called Ecology, Economy, and the Household. And let us welcome Harrison Sheppard.
Thank you, Dimitri. It's good to be here again. The subject of economy, ecology, and the household is one that is related in terms of classical Greek values by the ancient Greek word ekos. Ekos refers to the household. Economy is the rule of the household. Ecology is the science of understanding the household in terms of the environment in which we live. So economy, ecology, and household, in terms of classical Greek understandings, were all closely related. What you do in your own household, the way you manage your own finances, has an effect on not only your social community, but in modern times, it also has effect on the larger community of our planetary environment, which is why the term ecology was invented in the 20th century. There's a wonderful film called Winged Migration that shows the flight of birds around the world, including one species that flies from the North Pole to the South Pole and back every year. We can look at photographs taken by one of the Apollo flights showing our beautiful green, blue, and white clouded planet, which now is facing a crisis, not only the crisis of global warming and environmental pollution, but crises in terms of the beauty of that planet as well as its well-being. As we say in Chapter 5 of the book Aristotle and Alexander Press is about to publish, Too Much for Our Own Good, quoting the United Nations Agenda 21, the major cause of the continued deterioration of the global environment is the unsustainable pattern of consumption and production, particularly in industrialized countries. What this unsustainable pattern of consumption in industrialized countries refers to, and what Too Much for Our Own Good is concerned about, is the loss of an understanding in contemporary American society of the necessity to balance what we do in our households and what we do in our economy with an understanding of the debt we owe to the community and to the planet itself. If we are to avoid the worst possible effects of this contamination of the environment by our overuse of resources such as gas-fueled automobiles, or what we call car consumeritis and Too Much for Our Own Good, we need badly to understand, as the ancient Greeks understood, the necessary connection between what we do as individuals and what our duties are to the community as a whole. The ancient Greek value, the classical Greek value of understanding the necessity for an individual as a whole human being to relate his actions to the good of the community is something that is badly needed here in the 21st century to address the problems of our environment that we face as one of our modern realities.
Harrison, the ancient Greeks did not have to worry about problems like global warming or pollution or gasoline emissions. Is there anything we can learn from them that directly refers to problems like the ones we have today in our ecology?
I'm glad you asked that question, Dimitri, because I think that there is a great deal that we have to learn from the ancient Greeks in terms of addressing modern problems. Among the classical Greek values was really a profound respect for nature. Unfortunately, during the past century, with our amazing technological accomplishments, there tends to be the idea among some that nature is there for what we can take out of it, that human beings are entitled to tyrannize over nature and see nature as something that's apart from ourselves. The ancient Greeks would never have made that mistake. They understood that they bore a certain relationship to nature, or what they called physis, and would never have thought to have the presumption to think they could do whatever they wished without respecting the demands of nature. We need to regain that respect for nature that our technology has perhaps made us neglect because of the power it has given us. If we don't treat Mother Nature as she needs to be treated, we will feel the consequences of it far too harshly. And there are many people, of course, who are very concerned about this. So I would say that what the ancient Greeks have to teach us to this day is the kind of respect we need to have for our relationship to the planet and to nature of a kind that has been lost and needs to be regained.
Harrison, once again, thank you very much for your insight and wisdom. We're looking forward to see you next week.